CNN host, former prosecutor Nancy Grace grilled her guest hard to determine if she had killed her missing child. And just days after that interview, the mother took her own life. Now the parents of Melinda Duckett are filing a wrongful death suit against Grace and CNN, claiming that they contributed to their daughter's suicide. Andrew Smiley is a personal injury attorney who specializes in cases like this, and he joins us now. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Martha.
You know, I looked over the interview between Melinda Duckett and Nancy Grace earlier today. She definitely was pointed with her. She asked her several times if she had been offered a polygraph test and if she had denied taking the polygraph test. Another area where she grilled her was where she had been that day with her son. She kept saying, you know, where were you? What store were you in? Melinda didn't want to fess up with any of that information. Did you think the interview was unfair?
I did not. And, you know, the thrust of this case that's being brought is what's called intentional infliction of emotional distress. Say what you will about Nancy Grace. She's a hard-nosed interviewer, and some people may not care for her, you know, style. But to rise to the legal level, it's just not there. There's really three main elements, Martha, that have to be proven. First, that Nancy intended to cause harm to Melinda Duckett by bringing her onto the show. Secondly, that this behavior of Nancy was so outrageous. And third, that the behavior actually caused Melinda to go shoot herself with a shotgun. And it's not there for many reasons. First of all, the intent. It's going to be hard to show that she actually intended, by bringing her on the show, to do her harm. Right. You know, Nancy's intention will most likely be argued was to get, you know, to try and find Trenton, first of all. Secondly, it may be to get good ratings, for all we know. But to actually say she intended to bring her on to do her harm is a very tough first element to be met with.
She also, the only message, the only thing we really have to look at in terms of what Melinda Duckett was thinking is that she left these suicide notes. In them, she does not specifically point at CNN or Nancy Grace. What is that? How does that impact the case?
Well, you know, it may help if she had directly implicated Nancy Grace. It may give them some more stuff to work with. But frankly, even if she did, I still don't think there would be that much of a case, because we don't know where Melinda was at mentally before all of this. And she could have written that note as an excuse. You know, she could have killed herself over the grief of what was going on. We still don't know what's happened with Trenton.
So really it comes down to intent, right? It's whether or not Nancy Grace intended for this to happen and that she drove her line of questioning based on that, which, as you say, would be very, very difficult to prove.
Yeah, and even if you get over the intent, that first prong, then you'd have to show that the behavior in her questioning was so outrageous and with reckless disregard that it rises to that legal level of outrageousness, which, you know, again, it's hard-nosed questioning, but it's nothing outrageous, at least in the eyes of the law.
Also, it's not as if she was not ambushed. You know, she voluntarily came into that studio to sit down for that interview, right?
She did, exactly. She came in and she was asked tough questions. You know, my understanding is the guy at Wendy's, who's a witness, agreed to do a polygraph. Why wouldn't the mother? And these are questions that the public wants to know. They want to know what the mother has to say for her whereabouts.
All right. Sad story all around. Andrew Smiley, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.